two things pop up. First, if that were to be the case, yes, they raise concerns. But the thing is, they will have INEC officials who will be at the polling unit on that day. You have assistant polling officers who will read your card, read their card readers, who will then get your thumbprint. And then the thing is, when some did say it will take a longer time to fill those incidence forms, the good thing about that is that they will not be the ones to fill those incidence forms. It will be INEC officials, we're told, will be the ones to fill those forms. So does that, to some extent, that will reduce the elongated time, as you say, if you have more people filling the incidence forms, wouldn't it?
Yes, if you have more people, but how many more people can you have? Let's make it simple, especially for viewers at home. The smart card reader test was done, and only 59% results, only 59% of this test were completed. Hold that in one hand. Currently, you have 56 million voters that have collected their PVCs. In essence, what you have is potentially 24 million people may not be able to use their PVCs based on the test that was done by INEC. So you're going to
that is also holding into account if there are no improvements, because they say that they noticed that on that day, if you use certain things, or they got better results with the use of certain fingers, and they also got better results when their hands were cleaned properly again. So we don't know what the results will be because further tests weren't conducted. So we haven't even put that into cognizance.
We haven't, but it becomes a bit more tricky here because there's a fixed time for accreditation. So accreditation has been fixed between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. Yeah. So all that has been done. Whatever number of voters that we need to accredit, whoever needs to fill the...
It's not cast in stone though.
It's not cast in stone, but what we then find is we're hoping for an election, and it is extremely important that we're able to conclude this election on day one, and that's on Saturday. Once elections spill over to day two, potentially spills over to day three, then you have the probability of increased violence. Because what will happen most times is once elections spills over to day two, the potential results of day one will have filtered out to the supporters of the two major parties. And if there's any party,
they will not have been counted.
No, what you have is, it won't have been counted, but the voters already would be able to perceive the results based on discussions within the polling units.
But you recall they've done that before. Was it in Anambra State? They had to go for the polls the next day, so we didn't witness that much of violence.
We didn't, but this election is perhaps the first election in Nigeria that we will say the only predictable thing about this election is the unpredictability. Supporters of the two major opposing parties are only enthusiastic and optimistic about the results. But in all fairness, the predictability of this election lies on its unpredictability. And because of that, for example, we talked about the PVC collection in southern Nigeria, for example, and you can see how close it is. Among the seven APC governed states in southern Nigeria, you see a PVC collection rate and PVC collection numbers of 12.6 million, and among the other states in southern Nigeria, you see 11.5 million. So there's a difference of 1 million.
We cannot assume, because these elections are dynamic in many ways. People are also thinking that the results might be different in many ways, in the sense that, yes, currently the governor of a state might be in one political party, but the results that emanate from that state might also be completely different because of the new dynamics that have been introduced into this. It doesn't therefore follow the fact that one state has the governor from one party at the helm of affairs means that that state will most likely vote that way. Is that how you're perceiving things?
It's probably easier for us to, that's about how I'm perceiving it, but if we want to look at it on a state-by-state basis, we probably wouldn't be done. So it's easier for the viewers to look at it from a northern and southern Nigeria perspective. You remember in 2011, even though General Buhari lost, he won majority of the votes in northern Nigeria. He had 11.8 million votes compared to President Jonathan's 8.3 million votes. So he won in northern Nigeria, but he had no state, you want no state in southern Nigeria.
I'm afraid we'll have to just end it here, unfortunately. But not to worry, our election studios will always accommodate this view. So pardon me for letting it go here today. Jide Ogunsanwo is a data and information analyst. We'll be back in just a moment. Please join us again.